So there's been some developments, there've been actual updates and developments with the Kwesi Arthur situation right now. Um, right, there's a leaked email online that's allegedly from Mr. Clan Boateng to Kwesi Arthur, and this email clarifies some of the things that we didn't understand. I know that's one, and two, there's there was a representative from the management that did an interview to talk about some things. Now we will discuss a few of the things, but I would say this before we even go ahead. Ground Up is moving like they have something to hide. They are moving fishy, and you see what I mean. So this person that is sent to talk, I'm giving to understand, like, to represent them and then speak on their behalf. I'm giving to understand that he is a lawyer, and that probably makes sense. The reason why he was speaking in this cryptic, not cryptic, but you see, very intelligent people, they do this thing that sometimes they can say something in a way that they know that when you listen to it passively, you would imply something, and that's what he was doing. And then, and I'll give you an example. He said Kwesi Arthur went to Platoon, and I think Platoon is the distribution company for Son of Jacob album. Kwesi Arthur went to Platoon to tell them that Ground Up doesn't own Son of Jacob, so he was able to take an advance from them for that. But then he made it look. He said that Ground Up financed Kwesi Arthur to make the album. So if you are listening passively, you would feel like Kwesi Arthur made a deal with Ground Up and went behind their back to go do something else. And that's what I'm talking about. And then the reason why I'm saying they are moving fishy is that they know, these are intelligent, they know that that's not how the thing works. That's not how the thing works. It's not that simple. It's not because you finance an artist, you own the music. Everything has to be contractual. Everything has to be clearly stated in contracts. And then both parties will be aware of what they are signing, and then they would sign it. That's how these things work. You can't just say because you financed somebody to make an album, if they go take money on the album, they are going behind the back. That's not how it works. And they intentionally did that, and he's intentionally saying things like that to sway people's minds and reason. Now, the music business, this is how it works. It starts with the creatives. And when I say creatives, it's not just the vocalists. Usually when we say artists, we usually just think it's just the actual vocalist, the singer or the rapper. It's not just them. The producers, those that make the instrumental part of the music, they are creative people too. They make something out of nothing. They are creative, they are artists. The vocalists are artists. And then the lyricists, so, some, especially with the pop songs, there's people that will write the lyrics, and then there are people that will perform the songs, the music. Very different people. But generally, it starts with the creatives. So when I say creatives, I mean all of these people. They start and they make something. So either the producers make the instrumental first, and then the artist listens to the instrumental, and they're inspired and they make their own art out to go with that, or the artist are already inspired and they just make the song, and then the producers do they make instrumentals to go with it. Whichever way it happens, the creative people do their part, and then they give it to the mixers, the engineers. Those are the actual cooks. They cook this whole thing up. They take the instrumentals and then the vocals, and then they make them work together, and then we get a fine unit that the consumer likes. Then what happens is, usually after this, that's the making part of the music, right? Then this is what I'm talking about, how the business works. then that is taken. That item that is made, that unit that's made, is taken to the International Music Corporation. Something. I can't remember the thing, but they are those that do the copywriting. Now, when they go get the copywriting rights to that, that's like the power, the legal power for that music. Then that those documents that they get for owning that music, that unit of art made, is what they call the masters. That's the masters. And you hear some artists saying that they own their masters. So that means when an artist owns their masters, it means after that unit was made, whoever, either they themselves did the process of getting their music copyrighted, or their record label did it, but they kept it on their estate, that artist's estate, or that artist's just estate. They usually call it estate. But most of the time, more than 90% of the time, what happens is the record label takes that unit, and then they get the copyright, the law, by law, what gives you the power to own that unit of art. The record labels usually take it in their name, so by law they actually own it, even though they didn't make it. They own it. And before you go on to get too twisted about why anybody will accept that, you have to think about it this way. Record labels, they invest in artists. They don't invest in music, they invest in artists. So they see somebody, usually this person is broke, poor, destitute in some way, or just they are struggling, they are trying to get their music out there. And then these record labels, they sign contracts with them, and then they give them enough money to set up themselves in houses, buy cars, and live luxurious lives. Then they pay for studio time, they pay for their health, they pay for everything. Okay, they pay for everything to make this artist comfortable so that they can create. But usually with this, after they do all that, they sign these contracts that say that because we have effectively changed your whole life. Effectively, yeah. Every single thing that you create within this period, and then there's usually very clearly stated timelines within this period of time is ours. You see, and then sometimes they even go. So usually, I think in the past they used to use just the timelines, and then people were using that to screw over the record label. So now they change it to projects. So they say we signed this contract, and then you are supposed to create 2 albums. You're supposed to create 3 albums for us. Do you get it? But before you create the album, we will give you $200,000. We'll give you $250,000, $300,000. They invest money into these people, even though they don't really have. Those people haven't really shown them any reason, anything that they should like. It's like you are going to the market and you see somebody that's selling like things on a tray, but you are looking at the way the person works, and then you feel like this person, I can see that if somebody invests in them and give them a store, they can handle it. That's kind of, it's a bank, it's actually a combo, and then that's the process that goes on, and that's why they get to be able to claim the art that's made by this artist when they do that. So the masters, that actual part that I explained earlier, they usually own that part. But what happens is, apart from the masters, now when they want to sell the music, they have to get people to make CDs. They have to get radio stations to play it. They have to get this, that, and the third. That is called publishing. And they use the power of the masters, the power of, because they have their masters, they're able to authorize radio stations to do that. They're able to authorize people, those that are going to make the CDs, and then that's in the past. They're able to authorize putting of this, because these DSPs, before you put it on, they'll ask you what is your copyright, like where is the copyright to this unit of body of work that you are trying to put here? What is that? Like, what is the law that shows that you own it, that you are trying to make money from it? And if you don't have the masters, you can't put it there. So these record labels, they usually go through that. They do that, and then they take that. Because they own the masters, they do all of that, and then the artist doesn't even have to worry about all of that. Okay, and then so that's usually, but that's called publishing. And then what happens is the artists now have a different agreement with these record labels on how the money that's made from that is to be shared. Now it can be a 50-50 share. That's why you hear these ratios, 80-20. Many people have these 80-20 contracts. Many people have 70-30s. But luckily for Kwesi Arthur, apparently he had a 60-40. That's the record ground up takes 60 and he takes 40. And then after 2021, it became a 50-50. But remember that the 50-50 ratio only applies to the publishing. Don't forget about that. At least with what was clearly stated in that email with regards to the publishing. They said before 2021 was a 60-40 and now it's a 50-50 for publishing. So the fact that after their contract came to an end and Kwesi Arthur decided to now release an album, and then they decided that their partnership in the past was so lucrative, they still wanted to finance him. If they didn't sign a new clear contract that showed that the masters for this new endeavor is still theirs, they don't have any right to be talking about it. Kwesi Arthur went to take money from platoons. That is not your business. And that's why I'm saying they are intentionally moving fish. They're trying to brush over our face with something that, unless they show the contract that shows that clearly after 2021 there was a new contract, and that's another thing. You will realize that Kwesi Arthur has been clear about where his main issue has been. It has been with, he mentioned just the Son of Jacob album. Didn't mention anything before that. And even right now, the problem they are addressing the problem that has to do with the Son of Jacob album. Nothing to do with everything that came before that, because Kwesi Arthur didn't go and take money on anything, at least not that we've heard. He didn't go and take money on any of those things. He knows that what, he doesn't own the masters to that one. But if the Son of Jacob album, you don't have a clear contract that shows that you own it, you don't have any right to be making these demands that you are making. You don't have the power, like the law, by law you don't have the legal right to be demanded for that. But I would say something though, again, but how it was written in the email, it's still kind of fishy, and that's why I highlighted it. If you look down, you see that it's highlighted. It says that they own everything. They own it. The initial parties, they own everything that they finance, and the publishing is to be divided in this way. But they also went ahead to now state that the contract ended in 2021, and everything after 2021 became a 50-50. And Kwesi Arthur too said with the Son of Jacob, by then he had fulfilled his contract with them. And even they themselves, he said in that same email that yes, every expenditure from the past has been recouped. They with everything before 2021, that has been tied up nicely into a nice bow. Everything, all this is now about everything that happened after 2021. But Kwesi Arthur is very clear and adamant about the fact that he's not in any type of contract with them right now with regards to like he's not signed to them. Maybe he has that distribution deal with them, but that's exactly what it is. It is a distribution deal. You take care of selling my music. You are not into any part of owning my music. That seems to be and kind of looks like what Kwesi Arthur has said so far. And then these people are intentionally making it look like they are saying things that will make you think that they own the masters to that album too, even though they don't clearly state that they own the masters to that. Whether they own the masters to that or not, that's still where the problem is. If it comes out that they don't own the masters, I don't even know what these people are talking about. If he took an advance from platoons, what you have to do is also go to them and get your advance. If you also want an advance, or else you have to wait until they pay up the advance that they already give to Kwesi Arthur, and then you will now get the amount that you are supposed to get from that music. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of what it kind of screws you over. But yeah, that's what is. Your beef looks like, or your problem, the fact that you're not making money, seems to be a problem that you have with platoons, not with Kwesi Arthur. But for whatever reason, they seem to be trying to enforce the same contract that they had with him, that they are clearly saying that everything has been recouped and then that whole contract is over. Because Kwesi Arthur has been saying it over and over again that now he's no more signed to them. He doesn't rep them. He hasn't put them in any of his music. So I'm almost 100% sure that he never signed a new contract to them that was like effectively making them like his record label. It just seems like whatever deal he had with them after that 2021 was a publishing deal, and they are intentionally using this publishing deal to act like the type of deal that they already had before this, which is a whole deal. Like, that's the 360 we're talking about. But yeah, these people are moving fishy.